What's up, G fans? I want to do another video comparing power scales in Godzilla movies and, well, yeah, Godzilla movies. I'm not gonna worry about the games and comics and that. So, last video I did a thing on between Legendary and Shin Godzilla, and in that video I very clearly said that Legendary and Shin are pretty evenly balanced in different categories. That it would be a really good fight, but Legendary win if he got close enough to do physical combat with Shin, which will be his strongest. His breath is a lot weaker. So that brings to mind to me, well, what else other than the Japanese movies? Well, the earlier Japanese movies, I say. So how does Japanese Godzilla figure into all of this? How would the power scaling work with that? So the first part of the video, I guess, would say which is the strongest version of Godzilla as far as Japanese films go. That can be hard, but let's be honest. Let's just cross off the Showa version automatically because the Showa version, because it has done a lot of feats, but they don't really compare to what happens in the Millennium and Heisei era. Uh, Showa Godzilla has done a lot. He's tossed opponents a lot bigger than himself, like King Ghidorah right over his head. He's flown. Uh, but just the intensity of his breath overall is probably where he won't compare to the later versions of Godzilla, who have a much more devastating breath. Uh, Showa Godzilla's breath is pretty devastating, but only really to certain opponents I've noticed in the movies. Like if you compare Showa Godzilla's breath and what it does to opponents like King Ghidorah or Rodan, it doesn't do that much damage. It doesn't. That's between Ghidorah 3 the Monster and Invasion of Astro Monster. It just doesn't do that much. Certain opponents, I know it's weaker opponents, maybe just opponents with, I don't know, different type of skin, it hurts them a whole lot more. Like weaker opponents like Kamacuras and Ebra, it hurts badly. Kamacuras outright kills them like a single shot. Kumanga hurts pretty badly. Even Mechagodzilla takes some damage from him, but it doesn't really outright kill him. And Hedorah has no effect. So Godzilla has breath as a powerful weapon, and like I said, it hurts monsters. It could shoot monsters like Gigan right out of this fucking sky and drop on top of a building. But it's not the most powerful version of the breath we've seen. So let's cross out Showa Godzilla entirely. And then let's go to Millennium, because here's not going to Millennium because just for size, I know because what comes in a full-on fight, if I want to compare Millennium Godzilla to Shin or Legendary, I'll scale them up to be a proper match. But because all the Millennium Godzilla except for Final Wars are the same size, really, as Showa Godzilla, except for just a little bit bigger. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the scaling of each of the models. In the Showa films, all 15 of them, Godzilla was 164 feet tall. And in the Millennium series, for the first 5 movies, he was around the same size, just a little bit bigger, like I think 170, 180 feet tall. And I think in GMK, he was even a little bit taller, like almost 200 feet tall. And then Godzilla Final Wars, they went back to the 320 feet tall. He's like 150 meters or so. So that being said, I want to do Millennium series because of size. And as far as the Millennium series goes, that Godzilla is pretty strong, and he definitely has a much stronger breath. Like I said, by the time the Millennium series came around, it usually takes like one shot of his breath to hit most opponents and kill them. Let's go down to this Godzilla 2000. Godzilla's breath badly damages Orga. One shot alone can blow a chunk off his shoulder, and a continuous shot, as we saw near the end of the fight, Godzilla blowing apart Orga with his breath, it damages him pretty badly, but he regenerates. And then Godzilla still kills him anyway by shooting the breath down his mouth and blowing him to pieces, which he can't regenerate from. Megaguirus, same thing. Megaguirus only survived because she survived. She dodged every shot, but when she finally did get hit that one time, kaboom, that was it. Megaguirus was gone, blown to bits like Orga. And then GMK, the same thing. This breath was smaller, but it was also better to aim with. Anytime GMK Godzilla hit a monster with his breath, it knocked them out of the sky or hurt them badly. Ghidorah, Baragon blew to bits. Mothra knocked her back, blew her to bits, and Ghidorah eventually blew him to bits. So yeah, very strong. And then we come to Kiryu films, Godzilla's breath easily fucking knocked Mechagodzilla and Mothra around. And then by the time we get to Final Wars, yeah, the breath can do almost the same thing. Blew Gigan's head clean off. Killed Kaiser Ghidorah. All of that was with the help of a human, so I'm not really going to count that, really. Uh, and yeah, but the point of the matter is, Millennium Godzilla is a lot stronger than Showa Godzilla in a lot of ways. But how about strength? I mean, nothing Godzilla 2000 or Godzilla Megaguirus did was that impressive as far as strength goes. And there was no tossing around of Orga, so there's already lacking in that department. Speed, they do pretty good, fairly good, I should say. GMK, I'd say strength-wise, it's really hard to say because GMK Godzilla, I mean, his opponents were all smaller than him. That one scene where he did toss Ghidorah's head would be impressive, except for the fact that the Showa Godzilla was tossing Godzilla that was bigger than himself over his head, and GMK was tossing Ghidorah who was basically smaller than him, like a rag doll across the sea. So it was still impressive, but not quite the same. And then Kiryu Godzilla, definitely not as strong as Mecha Godzilla. Definitely, I'd say, because Mecha Godzilla was the one that was. Anytime they came to physical fighting, Mecha Godzilla was obviously a lot better. He's faster than Kiryu Godzilla, Kiryu Goji. He's better at hand-to-hand combat, and we've seen Kiryu toss Godzilla around many times. The scene where he tackles him across the city with one, flight-based tackle where he sends down from the sky and tackles his ass. He's tossed him by his tail like a rag doll, and he's even flipped him over his head. So yeah, Kiryu definitely has an advantage in that. Kiryu Goji's main strength is his durability and his breath. And Legendary Gods, Godzilla Final Wars, kind of the same thing. He's really strong, but only to a certain extent. A lot of opponents he fought in Godzilla Final Wars were really scaled down in power. People like Rodan, Anger's, not the greatest of opponents to test his strength against. And the ones who should have tested his metal a little more, like Gigan, were obviously scaled down. In the Showa version, Gigan could take hits from fucking Godzilla's breath, no problem, and still keep fighting. But GFW, much as I love Gigan in that movie, he didn't stand a chance. One breath, like I said, took off his head. A great scene, but showing that it's a little hard to weigh against Godzilla Final Wars powers because, like I said, he's going up against weaker opponents. And like I said, I'm not going to count anything from Kaiser Ghidorah because of the fact that power did not come from himself. It came from Ozaki helping him out. So I'm not going to include any kind of the feats he did with Kaiser Ghidorah at all. I will not do it. But I will include the meteorite scene where Godzilla shoots a meteorite out of the sky, which was pretty damn impressive. Maybe he has a radar sense of his own. Of course, that movie's not going to explain it. It's Godzilla Final Wars and explain a lot of things. But he did blow up a meteorite from the atmosphere with his heat ray and did survive the explosion, which decimated Tokyo. So obviously he's powerful, but I put him in the upper level of Godzilla's strengths, but still not one of the best, really. Now, the most powerful Godzilla I know of for sure is the Heisei Godzilla. This guy had everything. Where Heisei Godzilla may not have had speed like the Millennium or Showa movies, he had durability up the wazoo. He had massive strength. Wasn't strong enough to toss around an opponent like Biollante or Destroya, but we saw Heisei Godzilla lifting up opponents bigger than himself and tossing them, including Mechagodzilla and King Ghidorah, two of his biggest opponents in that series, and he tossed them with ease, let alone save Mothra or Battery, she also did. But King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla alone prove how strong he is. And of course, durability. Unlike the latest versions of Godzilla, which have been power scaled down to give him fatigue, Heisei Godzilla almost never, ever, ever gets tired during a fight. We've seen him fight to the brink of dawn and things like Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, where he just keeps on going. He can tank as much damage as pretty much anybody can toss on humans or other monsters. The only time this Godzilla was ever really outdone was in the case of Mechagodzilla and Space Godzilla. Like I said, even when Godzilla was Biollante, Godzilla was far from done. The only thing that really stopped him was the bacteria affecting his cells and draining his energy. So I'm not going to include that as a time Godzilla was losing on his own. Once again, that was with human intervention. So other than Mechagodzilla and Space Godzilla, and Mechagodzilla only really won because of the spinal brain thing, but without it, I'm not so sure if he'd be able to finish Godzilla off. But Mechagodzilla still was definitely a hard opponent for him regardless. That being said, though, the biggest reason why I know Heisei Godzilla is more powerful than even Legendary or Shin combined is because of Burning Godzilla. Godzilla at his peak, basically, which is ironic. Godzilla never gets tired, but by that movie, he's absorbed so much radiation that it's basically killing him. It's a power overload, which is funny because Shin Godzilla kind of looks like Burning Godzilla in some extent with the glowing body parts. That being said, though, Burning Godzilla is by far the most powerful version of Godzilla we've ever seen. Just like Shin Godzilla, like I said, it doesn't have the same reach as Shin Godzilla's breath, but Burning Godzilla's breath is pretty powerful. The opening scene of Hong Kong, we saw him sweeping it across Hong Kong's shoreline buildings and blowing them to bits with ease. We saw his breath blowing apart Destroyer with ease. And the breath, of course, as you know, radiates some power. But every time it hit Destroyer, it was guaranteed to do some damage, blowing body parts off. And we saw from Space Godzilla and Mechagodzilla that breath is devastating. So now that Destroyer is weaker, that breath is damaging. In fact, Destroyer can take so many hits, where Space Godzilla and Mechagodzilla died almost immediately from taking the breath, is actually pretty damn impressive. So Burning Godzilla's breath is already devastating enough to other monsters, and unless you can regenerate really fast, you're not going to take too many hits, which I love they emphasize that in the Godzilla game, because Burning Godzilla's breath is the most powerful. You cannot take too many hits close range without dying. So Burning Godzilla has the most breath, and he has the most durability by far. And I say this because that's the thing I noticed about Legendary Godzilla and Shin Godzilla fighting, that Shin Godzilla's breath, if he can kill Legendary with it alone before he gets in close, he'll win because it has a very strong cutting power and it probably does a lot of damage. And we just saw Shin Godzilla sweeping across the city in a ray and destroying everything. But if he focuses it on one spot, like say he hits Legendary Godzilla in his chest and just keeps on hitting him, do not doubt in my mind it might go through him and kill him. So that would hurt badly and probably kill him if, may win the fight right there. However, Burning Godzilla and Heisei Godzilla in general is incredibly durable. We never saw his skin break from getting hit by blasts, and let's face it, Heisei Godzilla fought more blasts than any other opponent ever. He got burned, but Biolance's acid didn't do anything. He got stabbed with Biolance's tendrils, which did damage, but he still kept on fighting. King Ghidorah's gravity beams did nothing to him. Mothra and Batch's beams combined did nothing to him, didn't break the skin. Mechagodzilla, all his beams combined didn't really break the skin. It did hurt him and make him go down to the ground, which when he became vulnerable to the G Crusher weapon. But they still, technically speaking, did not break the skin. And Space Godzilla the same thing, and so on and so forth. The only weapon that ever broke his skin directly, without help from humankind, was Destroyer's laser horn. And like I said, all you need to do is watch an amazing scene from Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Destroyer slashes into Godzilla with that horn beam and makes him bleed more than we ever saw in that series. Cuts him deeply in the chest and shoulder and in the waist. But what does Godzilla do? He doesn't give a shit. He just powers up his beam and fires back at Destroyer and blows a damn hole in his chest, which would kill a lot of other monsters. I definitely think it would kill Legendary or Shin because of the power of that blast. We saw it literally blew Destroyer's chest wide open. And mind you, people speaking about size, Heisei Godzilla is a lot smaller than Shin or Legendary Godzilla, but Destroyer was also a hell of a lot bigger than Burning Godzilla was. In fact, I think Destroyer is around the same size as at least Legendary Godzilla, if not Shin. But I don't think Shin maybe, but he's definitely a lot bigger. Heisei Godzilla, for those who don't know, is 328 feet tall. And Legendary is 355 feet tall, and Shin is 398 feet, I believe. And I know Destroyer is at least as big as Legendary. So size does not matter. It does not matter with Heisei Godzilla. Like I said before, he's beat opponents that are bigger than him. Mechagodzilla was taller than him. Heisei King Ghidorah is definitely bigger than him. He whooped Heisei King Ghidorah as well. And Biollante also, it kind of ended in a draw, but I think Godzilla had kind of the advantage there. But like I said, it ended in a draw, so it's hard to say. That being said, though, Burning Godzilla can take hits up the wazoo. Like I said, he took the laser horn, which is a pretty good evidence of what Shin Godzilla's beam would do to another monster, let alone buildings. Buildings is cool. It's fine. It's impressive. But hitting another monster beam weapon is one other thing, and Burning Godzilla has proven that he can take a beam weapon to the face, into the body, and still keep fighting. Destroyer's beam cut right into his chest, right in the collarbone, and the side of his hide and the stomach, and he didn't bother him in the least. He kept fighting and even won that small scope with Destroyer, knocked him on his ass. And then later on, when Destroyer came back to try to hurt Godzilla again, he didn't bother because he knew it wouldn't hurt. He went straight to using his tail again because it's faster than Godzilla can react. But even that, too, didn't do too much. Even if Destroyer tosses Godzilla around his tail, it doesn't matter. Heisei gets back up and once again goes with his favorite weapon, the nuclear atomic breath, which blew off a piece of Destroyer's face, badly wounding him. And then, of course, also Legendary Godzilla, Heisei, also has the nuclear pulse, which he used at least once in almost every single movie, which is basically, those who don't know, when he releases energy around his body in every direction for a short distance. He first used it against Godzilla's Biollante when the tendrils were wrapped around him, the vines. He used it to blow away the vines. He used it against King Ghidorah, which knocked King Ghidorah on his ass. He used it against Mothra and Batra, I believe. I think it was just Mothra, actually, knocked her on her ass. And he used a variant of it against Mechagodzilla, sending the energy right back up Mechagodzilla's arms and frying his reactor. And I'm not too sure if he used it against Space Godzilla. The point is, every time I used it, it's been a devastating effect. And then we saw it at its maximum efficiency against Destroyer. It was blowing up buildings much farther reach than it usually did. And Destroyer didn't stand a chance. That was the one time that Heisei's opponent actually tried to run because they didn't know what the hell to do. Destroyer tried to run, only to be killed by military. But by then, we all know the fight was already in Godzilla's favor. He cut him down to nothing. So because Heisei Godzilla has stronger breath weapons, more durability, and he died in that movie, I'll just say it, he's more energy efficient than the two newest Godzillas. I still think Heisei Godzilla is the strongest incarnation of Godzilla known to man and the fan base. Let's face it. Heisei Godzilla takes the win in almost any way conceivable. There's nothing they can really do. As we saw, Shin Godzilla got hurt by a bomb from a stealth bomber. So when Heisei Godzilla's breath hits Shin, it's gonna hurt like hell and probably blow his body apart. If he regenerates, it's fine, but Godzilla would have no problem dealing with him. Like I said, he has the nuclear pulse, which we saw Godzilla use many times against Destroyer's smaller forms and the bigger form. So it almost doesn't really matter how many ways he tries to comes back. Heisei Godzilla will be ready for him. It doesn't matter. There's no way he can win. And Legendary Godzilla, I think physically, Heisei Godzilla will be put off by Legendary Godzilla's strength, and his size might hurt. But I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. As we saw, Destroyer is physically stronger than Godzilla. Destroyer in a pushing match, a shoving match, I should say, when Godzilla kept tackling Destroyer, it didn't do shit. Because Destroyer is a lot bigger than him and definitely a lot stronger. Destroyer shoved him once, knocked him on his ass, and then hit him with his micro-oxygen ray. So Destroyer is stronger than Godzilla, but did it help him win? No, because Godzilla has, like I said, durability and an amazing beam weapon that does a hell of a lot of work. So Heisei Godzilla to me is the strongest version of Godzilla, and between all the variations, Showa, Millennium, Legendary, Shin, Heisei Godzilla is the strongest by far for a number of reasons, and they've yet to make a version that is stronger than him. Not even Final Wars, nothing can be top what they did right there as far as power scaling goes. Heisei Godzilla for the fucking win.